Hello, my friends, and welcome to MSP Unplugged's Tech Talk Tuesday with AltTech. My name is Rick Smith, and I'm your host for today. My co-host, Paco Lebron, who you're normally used to seeing, he's actually on vacation. Hopefully, he's vacationing, but knowing that guy, he's probably somewhere searching around with his laptop trying to get Wi-Fi to figure out a way to work. But for those who don't know, this is the place to learn tips, tricks, and strategies to help grow and run your IT service business. Whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey, this is the place for you. Now, before we meet today's guest, I'd like to give our normal PSA, our public service announcement to, I'm sure everyone knows what I'm going to talk about here, and that's TechCon Unplugged, which is happening September 7th to the 10th at the Delta Hotel in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Now, TechCon Unplugged is our annual gathering of techs, vendors, and business owners in the space. There, you will learn from like-minded people in panels and breakout sessions, gain key takeaways from partners and vendors in the space. And my absolute favorite part of all this and how I became a part of it is you get to experience those one-on-one or spontaneous group conversations where great friendships are built, relationships are cultivated, and great ideas are exchanged. And tickets are on sale at techconunplugged.com. We are in the second stage of our early bird, so tickets are now $299 until June 30th. Remember, if you are a member of the MSP Unplugged community, or you attended TechCon last year, there is a discount available for your tickets. So send us an an email at info@mspunplugged.com, and we'll be sure to get you that discount code. Let me bring in our guest today. This is Carrie Green. She's the vice president of AltTech in Alberta, Canada. Carrie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Uh, I have to say this. You guys know this is a very informal show. We're running a little late today, and Carrie is very gracious. I commented on her nice, calm, Canadian attitude about dealing with all of the delays and things. So I'm going to say this on air, Carrie. I appreciate you working with us today and being a good sport about things.
Oh, it's totally fine. Like all things in technology, right? We have to have a little bit of patience and, humor and just put a smile on our face sometimes because that's how we get through it.
Exactly. So, Carrie, for those who don't know you, I know you're probably new to the community here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your background, pre all tech, your tech in I don't know how to say what your history and how you got to all tech. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So I've been actually in the industry for a little over 20 years now. I did work provincial government for a number of years and then decided to take some time off to have a couple of kids and try the whole stay-at-home mom thing. And I'm a better mom because I work now. So about close to 10 years ago now, I got into the channel and that's when I started with AltTech. I actually started as a support tech I was the only help desk tech here, taking care of all of our clients at that time, and just worked my way from doing support through, support manager, operations manager, and now kind of steering the ship as the VP of strategy to make sure that we're growing and servicing our customers in the best way possible. The channel, as you know, is such an incredible place and such an inclusive place where everybody's friends essentially, right? And we all look to help each other. And after spending 10 years with the provincial government where you were very soloed and very um, put in a box, I guess, as to what you could do and what you could see, the channel was such a great place to come and really help myself develop both personally and professionally. So I wouldn't really want to be anywhere else.
Cool. So, tell us a little bit about Alltech. I don't, but you just give us a little background on Alltech, and you guys have a vertical you specialize in, or how do you guys do business over it?
Yeah, at AltTech, we're an MSP just outside of Edmonton, Alberta, up in Canada, and we have quite a few clients, but we actually try to stay in the verticals of the professional services, lawyers, bookkeepers, accountants, and that kind of thing. But we're in Alberta, vast land of oil and gas, so of course we have lots of those in that volatile kind of industry, right? So Our organization, so AltTech, when I started with us close to 10 years ago, there were three of us. We're now a team of 22 with a 24/7 knock and sock, which is, a fabulous offering. What kind of sets us apart of a lot of our competitors, because our staff don't actually have to stay after hours. We have a team dedicated to that, to be able to service everybody, make sure that we're watching those networks and all those scary things that come up in the client's environments after hours, right? So, yeah, we've grown to a team of 22 with level one all the way through our knock and sock, and just a terrific team with a really great culture. Um, I know it's easy for me to say, but you can ask anybody in our organization and they would agree. It's, next week we're bringing in axe throwing just to have a little bit of a team
Oh,
builder
wow.
after hours kind of thing, which is really fun, right? We work hard and we play hard is what I like to say.
See, again, it's that good natured Canadian, because we couldn't do that here. We probably have people chasing each other around with axes, trying to get out some aggression. But that's
Right?
pretty cool. Now it's a little. I don't know. I'm not going to claim to have that much knowledge of the Canadian market. I know here I'd say it's kind of a twofold thing. It's an extremely competitive market here, but at the same time, there's enough clients to go around. Is it,
Mhm.
would you say it's kind of a similar scenario there, or?
Yeah, my experience has been pretty similar. We actually started this WhatsApp group a while ago of just Alberta MSPs, which has now grown. We're trying to grow a Canadian group as well, because there's so much value in sharing and talking together that if somebody approaches us and they're like, we're looking for managed services, but they don't quite fit our niche of, our number of seats, or in a vertical that we really specialize in, because I believe that you need to be good at what you do, and what you're not good at, you need to find a referral partner or somebody else to take on that business. So we like to share leads back and forth with our peers as well, and it also helps you grow by sharing some of that information. Our chat group is super active in, have you guys heard about this? Look at this, this is what's going on. This is, down in the States, or this is in Canada, or like, let's be aware, let's share, let's grow, and let's come together to help everybody win.
Sounds good. Yeah. And it's, I guess that is a similar uh way to what we do here, because we try to be, and this is one of the things that MSP Unplugged is about. It's about that community aspect of MSPs getting together, sharing ideas. Again, like you said, I think it's probably the smartest thing any of us can do is, if it's something we don't do, put the customer with someone who can handle it, who can better serve them,
Mhm.
serve you better in the long run as well. And that goes both ways. Now, in terms of I guess, well, I'm really trying to get a sense of that Canadian market. So I guess I know an MSP is an MSP is an MSP, but we all do things a little differently. Do you guys, if you have I guess marketers tell us to have a USP, right? A unique selling point. If you guys had a USP, what would you, or if you have a USP, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say you don't, but what would you say that is?
Really, I think it's our customer service. Like for all tech, especially, we really fall back on that customer service, our relationships. One of our core values is family. A lot of places say that family is a core value. We live and die by it. We breathe it. It's everybody inside our organization is a member of our family, as well as our partners. Our customers. We treat them the way we would want to be treated. I'm currently going through some trials with one of our partners with some devices that we have, and my comment to them was, I would never treat one of my partners the way that I'm being treated by you. And really, like, it's a terrible feeling to be on the receiving end of something that you're not getting that result that you want. So
Mhm.
I never want somebody to feel like when they're working with me, that they're not getting what they want. So we're extremely open, take every bit of feedback with, a grain of salt, and learning how we can grow and we can better ourselves. So we meet with all of our customers once a month. I know it sounds like overkill, and a lot of MSPs don't do that. They'll do, annual, maybe quarterly. We do every single month. We have a dedicated customer service representative that deals with that and talks to them. I join in a lot of those calls just to make sure my finger's on the pulse. I know where our customers are at and that they are receiving everything that they need from us. And if they're not, how can we be better? I think every opportunity is a room for growth. And if we don't take those, growing, those things that help us grow, we're never going to get any better, right? And that's how we like to develop our staff, our whole organization. And I think it's what sets us apart.
It's interesting. It's like everyone says we meet our customers all the time, and a lot of us we have the intention of doing it, and we don't. Now, is this something?
Mm-hmm.
And and I say it's on our roadmap to try to meet with everyone. At Renactus, at my company, it's on our roadmap to try to have that meeting with everyone once a month. We just haven't done it yet. Now, is this something that's always been something you guys have done, or something that you came to a realization it needed to be done, or it
Yeah,
was
in
just
the
always?
last couple of years is when we've really flourished with it. I tried when I was doing a lot of it myself, and it wasn't until I was able to bring somebody, we brought somebody in to actually dedicate them to that. So they have a whole slide deck they go through with our customers every month that shows the whole previous month. So it goes through all of our tools and all the reporting, their ticket stats. So it really shows them what that value is that they have with us, because we find that a lot of times customers, there's two ways they think of you. I never hear from you. What am I paying you for? Or you're always fixing things. So what am I paying you for? So,
Mhm.
we try to be in that first category of we never hear from you, right? Because we like to be proactive. But that also is, well, what am I paying you for? So in our, monthly meetings with them, we're able to show them the value, to prove that value of look at all these, whatever tool we're using, look at all these stops that we've had, or look at all these tickets that were created behind the scenes and resolved without you guys even knowing. And that's how you're able to keep going. So instead of just, well, we're just here, set it, forget it. And, we actually can show you, here's all the, what's the word I'm looking for? The red, green, and yellow, right? To show you that everything that we've done, which is, I think, a huge value for them.
Yeah, I think that's great. We were actually, I was just in a discussion with with the group about showing our customers value, because again, it goes back to what you
Mhm.
said. You're going to fall in one of those two buckets, right? Either we don't see you, so what are we paying you for? Or you always here because everything's broke, so what are we paying you for? And
Right.
it and I think it's a great, it's exposing, we were calling it showing clients the hidden value, why you're paying us, why it's a good thing that you don't see us, right? If you don't
Right.
necessarily, why it's good that you don't, you don't have to call us every day to fix something, or to because something's broke. That's a good thing. And then it's important that we be able to figure out a way to show consistently show our customers that value, because if we don't, they're going to make their own assumptions. And a lot of times those assumptions are, this guy or this girl or this company is not doing what we need.
Right. And everybody thinks that the grass is greener on the other side, right? You don't want to give them that opportunity really to start shopping around. We know our value and we know what's out there. However, the customers don't. So you need to really just show them what that value is so that they don't have a reason to go and look elsewhere, but also so that it's one less stress on their plate, right? These organizations hire us as an MSP to come in to take care of their IT needs, to take care of their cyber needs, to let them sleep at night so they don't need to stay up worrying. So I never want to be that worry that they have.
One of the issues, like when we talk about them sleeping at night, it pings something in my mind. We Paco and I have this ongoing conversation about what clients understand and appreciate and what they don't. And by that, it goes back into that whole selling, or I hate to use the word selling, but showing value to your customers. But again, educating them enough to care. Do you guys find that, how do you get around that? And what I mean by that is, we get a lot of customers, and I'll phrase it this way, and this may help. We get a lot of customers who are I don't necessarily need all of this, because this won't happen to me. Nobody's going to come after my data, or no one's coming after my
Hmm.
this or that. So, they don't put as much care or emphasis or worry that we do on that. Do you find that same? And if you do, how do you guys overcome that?
Yeah, we definitely see the same kind of thing of, well, you want me to pay X amount for something I've never come across. It's never a problem till it's a problem, right? So,
Right.
we have definitely our case studies and our stories from people that we've either taken over or, people that we know, different breaches that they've had. And, we're able to incorporate that into conversation of, okay, I understand that doesn't happen, but these bad guys, for lack of a better term, right? They don't sleep. So our team is able to watch and monitor everything around the clock so you don't have to, right? And really bringing up some of those, stories and case studies that we have with people that um, other companies out there of, well, they thought they were good and then their business has been down for a week because, well, whoever was servicing them or they were chewing it on their own, they didn't have up-to-date backups. They thought they did, but they didn't. Or they didn't have, the cybersecurity tools in place to stop some of the breaches before they even got in the door and things like that. So we really, you don't try to scare them, but it's educating, making
Right.
sure they're aware of what's going on. And with the groups that we're part of, we're able to always know a lot of things that are going on around the world, right? Okay, well, this is kind of coming down the pipe, or this is out there in the wild, so that we can really take steps to protect against that kind of stuff before it even comes and is a problem. We can tell our customers that no, you're good, right? You don't have to worry about that because we worry about that. So you sleep, you worry about your business and growing your business and being the best that you can be, and we will take care of the IT needs and your security posture and all of that kind of stuff so that you don't have to.
Yeah, it's just it's just that challenge because again, we say it, we try, and it's like
Hmm.
some things is just they just don't see the way we see it. And again, they're not paid to see. We're paid to see it, right? It's like you said,
That's right.
you don't worry about it, we worry about it. But it's just that getting over that initial hump is because I guess the real issue comes in is like, okay, hey, we're doing all of these list of things and we'll give a customer a list of the things and they say we are paying for all of these things. Say yes, that's this, this is what we're offering. They say, well then, I've had this happen. A customer will try to redline things. We don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. And the argument is you need these things, or we've learned now. Before I would, as a growing business, it was hard to say no, right? It was hard to,
Hmm.
you didn't want to lose the customer, you don't want to lose the revenue, so you try to do it their way. But I learned the hard way that when you cut corners like that, and that's essentially what it is, you're cutting corners, and you don't give a client a full package of what they need, that will really come back to bite you. So I've learned now to, we've had to train ourselves, but we say no. And if you don't want to
Yeah.
take it our way, then, sorry, sir, you can go find someone else who's willing to do it that way. But it's just always been that ongoing struggle. And I've realized that since we've learned to do that, we've grown a bit because like, I think also what happens. Good, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna totally agree with you on that because when we started saying no, that's when we started just exploding, right? Because you actually can focus on those who take it seriously, who actually believe and trust you as opposed to those who, well, I know I need this, but I don't want to pay it, right? So yeah, they cut the corners and it's not a problem until it's a problem, right? So
Right.
yeah, our organization bloomed as soon as we started saying no, and we got more selective as to who we would take on. There are a few legacy customers that we have, but then we have a waiver in place that we're not responsible should this happen, kind of thing, because you don't want to put
Mhm.
MFA in place or, like something so simple from our side, but they're like, well, security is not convenient.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. But it happens, and I've realized too. It's like you say, we've grown in that, and also some customers think about it and they respect you more now. Right? They know, hey,
Mhm.
there's a line, and I try to always compare what we do to their profession. Sometimes I come up with some decent analogies. Sometimes they're terrible, but I tell a doctor, you can't have a patient. You don't have a patient comes in and they tell you something's wrong, and you let them choose which medications they're going to take and which ones, which prescriptions they're going to take and which ones they're not. Right? I said, now it's their choice if they actually take them, but you're not giving them the choice of, hey, I will only prescribe X because you said so, or because you don't want to take an extra blue pill at night or whatever, or green pill, whatever it is.
Right.
And blue pill, I just realized it wasn't a good analogy, but um, but but we've learned from that. It has solely helped us grow. And from some customers we gain respect. Others, we've had some who left, but they kind of struggle back in later, and then we can stick it to them
Mm-hmm.
hard. And I don't mean that in a negative, but we normally can get then exactly what we need from them. And
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize too as an MSP owner that not every solution fits every organization, right? So you got to step back and really understand the business, and then you have to also tailor some of those solutions to fit their needs, right? So working with them to understand what their challenges are and solving problems. Really, that's all we are, right? Is we're problem solvers. So finding that solution, maybe, your solution is just too large for them, and making it into bite-sized pieces. But here's the end goal. We're going to start with this and we're going to move to this into smaller chunks so that they can actually understand what it is that you're trying to do. And
mhm.
sometimes it's fiscally more, sorry, words aren't coming to me. It's easier for them to bite those, little chunks off at a time instead of,
Right.
okay, well, here we come with this huge solution that maybe is a little overkill for you at this point. So it's tailoring to understand what their needs are and to protect them the best that you can.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point. If you can give it to them in chunks, with the and now this comes back to actually what you started with actually meeting with your clients and talking to them, because then if you can give them that, I guess, that strategy or that ongoing plan, and they can take it in chunks, and
Hmm.
it's how, I guess, it's how we cycle and process the business, and knowing where we want to start and where the end is. Now, a lot of us, again, it's one of those things. I preach this stuff because I've learned it, like, and not because I've been this
Hmm.
great
Hmm.
guru about it, or I do it so well. But having guests like you, or talking to friends, and just meeting people in the industry, I pick up on what happens, or how I should be doing things, and it helps me adapt. And one of the
Hmm.
things we've started doing is, like you're saying, is like, we still haven't met with every client, but now we have, at least in on paper, a plan for every client. Now, every client doesn't
Hmm.
know that plan yet, but we have it. And then at some point we can present it to them, because it's like you said, though, if we can get them, we're not going to start out, we can't start at A and expect to get to Z on the signing of a contract. But if we
Yeah.
can get to, a couple of letters in and keep working forward, then we can, reach that, finally get to Z. And then we'll have to start with double A's
Yeah.
for all the new stuff. But
Right. Well, and IT can be so overwhelming too, right? A lot of these guys are business owners that maybe don't have that, well, they don't have the same background that you or I have, right? In the industry, and they don't understand what some of those threat actors are. So it's really taking it and, like you mentioned earlier, relating it to their business and, you know, making sure that they can understand it, but in those bite-sized pieces, because if you provide them with too much information, it becomes information overload. They shut down and they don't hear what you're saying anyways. So,
mhm.
taking it is what might seem simple to you or I is not necessarily simple to them, right? So, or easy to digest to them. So it's really trying to find that way to make them understand in ways that they can understand.
All right. Yeah, and it's always, and I guess one of the things we got to learn is always an ongoing process, and
Oh,
a growing
absolutely.
process. It's like you say, because, and then when you think you got it down, something hits you the next day, and then you got to start all over or introduce something else. So it's definitely a challenge. Now, I wanted
Yeah, we
to,
definitely have to pivot.
yeah, definitely. And I wanted to shift gears a little bit, because, those who listen to the show know that TechCon Unplugged for us is a big deal. Like, this is our event that we do. Now, I understand you're putting together something for Canadian MSPs. Um, CanitCon is called, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about this. It fills my bucket in so many ways. So for a number of years, I've been very fortunate, and my business partner, we've been fortunate to be able to travel to the States to go to different events. We've gone to the DattoCons, we've gone to the ACLs, we're going to be at PAX Beyond and all of those kind of events. But it's quite expensive for Canadians to travel, especially, in our country, over the border, people don't have passports, this and that. So we were trying to, a bunch of us kind of got together and we're like, what is there in Canada that we can go to? There are a number of channel events. There's a lot of vendor-driven channel events, and even fewer events that are, vendor neutral. So we're like, okay, something needs to be done about this. And well, ask a busy person to take on another task, you do. So we're like, well, let's just do something. So we developed CanadaCon. We're having our inaugural event this September in Banff, Alberta. Banff is a UNESCO World Site. It's absolutely breathtaking, beautiful with the mountains and the rivers, and it's a gorgeous venue that we have there. But really what our goal is to bring MSPs together, to collaborate, to talk, to share. If we work together, it just makes things so much easier, as opposed to everybody trying to reinvent the wheel and find those solutions, right? So it's a very intimate event. We're looking at only max 200 people kind of thing. We have 19 sponsors already signed up, ready to go. So there's going to be some great, vendor breakouts. There's going to be some peer groups. There's going to be excellent keynotes, and just some good opportunities to network together, share, collaborate, and grow. So registration is open. Our early bird pricing is at, I believe it's $249 Canadian. So not US, Canadian.
I don't know if that's more or less than US.
So it's less.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, registration's open, and we're just looking to, get some traction in there and really make this the most successful event that we possibly can, so that we can grow and we can just all be together and share. So excited about it, and what it's going to do to the channel.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. As someone who's doing this, and I know it's a lot of work, but again, and I know you're probably, last year was my TechCon has been going on this is going to be the fourth TechCon, but events in the same group have been going on. Actually, ironically, the first meetup they had was actually in Toronto, Canada. for us
okay,
here.
Cool.
And that was, I guess, maybe 2018, somewhere in that area. But that was the first one, and that spurned into a couple of other name changes. But now it's what is TechCon Unplugged. But
Very cool.
like I say, last year was my first, and I did not realize. It's always easy to look at these things from the outside and say, hey, they should have done this, they should have done that. But it is a lot of work. But I will say this to you, I commend you for the effort. And the other thing is, once it's over and you watch all the people come and they have a good time, it's worth all of that time and that work you're putting in now.
I'm so excited for it. And I have some great, partners on board here who we've all kind of got our little pieces, and sharing the event and helping with the planning and collaboration. It's definitely not a one-man show. There's a whole bunch of people behind the scenes, and I couldn't do what we're doing without them. So super grateful to have a tribe, and it's a tribe of people that I've met through my time in the channel and in the industry. Like I know what I know, but I couldn't do it without all the other experts that are in place, right? So really, just even the planning of it is collaboration among other MSPs, which is pretty cool.
That's great. That's great. I have a geographical question with that, because I know
sure.
And there's a large landmass, but I my understanding is there's pockets of land where people are. So when you put on an event like this in Alberta, is it really do you have people coming from all over Canada coming, or is it more so just people in that area?
So we're open to anybody who wants to come and who wants to, learn and share. We have registrants already from down in the States. We have some from Eastern Canada. We have some from Alberta. So really we're gathering everybody who wants to be there, who wants to share, who wants to just learn from each other, right? So this year we're doing West, next year we'll do West, and then we'll look at, moving East after we've got a couple really good ones under our belts kind of thing, just because we live in the West. There are other events that, take place in the East. There's definitely more in the Toronto kind of area than there are in the Edmonton, Calgary kind of area, Vancouver even, right? So, we're trying to really gather those people so that they have that opportunity, especially these smaller MSPs who maybe can't get away for the time it takes to travel to and from an event, right? So trying to bring something a little bit closer to home for those guys so that everybody has an opportunity. It doesn't matter if you're a 1 or 2 man MSP or you're a 30 man MSP. It's being able to bring everybody together and giving them a platform to share and learn.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just asking because I know, like here, and again, my ignorance to Canada, but like here, I know we tried to do it centrally located. So for a lot of years, we were in the Midwest to try to get people to come basically from both coasts, from the East Coast and the West Coast. This year, we are in New Jersey, so where I'm at actually. So we are going on the East Coast, and that makes it a little more challenging for someone who maybe coming from California or Washington or places like that in the West. So I was just wondering, I guess that was the premise behind my question was, is where you are centrally located where people just come from all over? I couldn't even tell you even if you showed me a map, I couldn't tell you how many miles it is from Toronto to Alberta. So I don't know.
It's a fair distance. It's a fair distance.
Okay.
But yeah, and you know what? Being our inaugural event, I guess we're gonna just have to kind of see where the people come from, right? I would love to be able to do 2 events where we have one in the East and one in the West so that we can, service both and make it more accessible to both. So, ultimately that's what we would love to do and get to that point. But we just got to kind of see how things play out after, the first year or 2, right? And like you said, it's a lot of work to put into it. So we got to make sure we got that buy-in. We know what we're doing and we think it's going to be amazing, but I want everybody to think it's amazing, right?
Right. And I think once, again, I've been to the tech cons and I loved it. I've made a lot of great friends and, you know, just learned so much from the people that I've come across. Even going to other events. I don't want to just say TechCon. Going to other events everywhere. I know you met Paco at an event in the States, right? And that's how you were on the show. And so we've met a lot of great people, a lot of great friends. But those smaller, intimate settings are just great because you really get to talk more than 5 minutes to someone before you're off to something else. And so I think, what you guys are doing is great. Again, like I said, I commend you for it. And I applaud your hard work because I know what goes into it.
Well, really, at the end of the day, we all have the same problems. So if we just talked about what some of those struggles are, what some of those problems are, I think we could find some really great solutions together that you'd spend less time digging to create a solution that's going to fit when you can just collaborate and share and pull pieces from here and there. So that my values always at events has always been the networking portion, the collaborating and the sharing, because I can grow so much personally, I can grow so much professionally and just be a better person. So that's really what I want to drive home. We selected Banff for our first year just because it's such a gorgeous location. It is a little bit of a drive from the airport. It's about an hour from the Calgary airport, hour and a bit. But once you're there, it's a destination. It's one of those bucket list locations that people always say they want to go to, and they don't. So if we can bring a conference there and give you a reason to come, I'd love to showcase our beautiful country here. So
for all you on the fence, there's your reason right there. It's a bucket list.
Right?
But that's cool. That's cool. Now, as we wind down the show here, Carrie, I wanted to ask, and I know we kind of went all over the place. We went from your career at AltTech and what you guys do to your CandidCon. But is there anything you think that you wanted to say or you wanted to cover that we didn't talk about?
I think the only thing I'd add is, anybody in the channel who doesn't know how to get out there and do those networking, or you're looking to grow yourself personally, professionally, find your cheerleader, find somebody out there who can, help guide you, find a mentor. If you don't have one, just ask. The channel is such a giving place that anybody out there, I'm sure, would be, open to answering questions or helping guide you or just cheering you on and showing you that you're an amazing person and that what you're doing and you can grow. being a woman in IT, we face lots of challenges as far as, imposter syndrome. Men do too. Definitely don't discount that. But, I know myself personally, I've had to search everywhere for cheerleaders, and I have some really great cheerleaders on my team who helped build me up and helped grow me. So if anybody's out there doesn't have one, I, look to your neighbor and or call me, whatever, like happy to build anybody up, because there's so many seats at the table. There's so much opportunity out there, and there's room for all of us.
Well said. And I feel like an idiot now because I'm a father of 3 daughters. None of them are interested in tech. And I think a lot of it is because they don't have many role models that, or they don't see. Not, I think have is the wrong word, because they're there. We just don't know.
Mhm.
And they just don't see that many role models. And I think it's great for the industry. And we need to emphasize that more. I know it's everybody has the notion of a tech being this geek guy with glasses and a pocket protector and not realizing, that the mom, the dad, the guy, the gal next door is just, who you think is cool is the tech too. So I just, I appreciate that. And I, like I said, I feel a little bit of an idiot that we didn't talk about that portion of it, about the women in tech portion of this, but we'll save it for
There's
another
room for
conversation.
everybody. So it shouldn't matter, male, female, parents, not parents, young, old, it doesn't matter. There's room for everybody. And we just, you don't see your seat at the table, grab a chair and just pull it up.
Well said. Well said. I'm gonna tell the girls that one. But Carrie, can you for those who are interested in, I'm gonna say both things. First, you, if there, any comments or questions anyone wanted to ask you that I didn't talk about, because Lord knows I miss a lot. How can someone get in touch with you first and foremost?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm all over LinkedIn. Definitely reach out either through LinkedIn or pop me an email, Carrie at alt-tech.ca. I'm always happy to connect, whether it be on the AltTech side of things, for MSP, anything related to that, or else if, you're interested in events, check out our website. It's www.canetcon.ca. And, we're always happy to connect and share. So
yeah, that was my next question about CanetCon. We will definitely put both in the show notes for anyone interested. I actually would love to go, but I think it coincides with our time here, or it'll be too close. But I'm not opposed to making it to Canada at some point for a tech show to meet up with people. So I'm going to keep that in mind. But Carrie, I do want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate you dealing with all of the glitches and glares. Again, I know I don't need to necessarily talk about that on air, but I like to be honest and like to be truthful about it. And you were a good sport with some things, so I do appreciate that. Now, for everyone else, I'd like to thank you for listening. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. You can watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged, or on Facebook at facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit that notification button to be notified when a new episode is available. If you think that Paco and I have a face for radio only, you could take us on the go with your favorite podcatcher app. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. For all of us here at MSP Unplugged, we want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.